A very good evening to you. This is the Primetime News. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have quite a lot of stories lined up for you tonight, but first, let's take a look at the highlights. KCSE exam results released today indicating improvement compared to the 2021 KCSE results. CS Mashogu says the Ministry of Education to provide guidelines on the junior secondary school education. President Ruto makes 6 new parastatal changes in government. And LSK stages a march over inefficiencies in the Ministry of Lands. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Ruth Chepkoech. I am IMBINDA. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education exam results released today by Cabinet Secretary for Education Ezekiel Mashogu shows improvement compared to the 2021 KCSE results. In the 2021 results released, 441 exam irregularity cases were reported. However, this year, no case of irregularity was reported. Take a look.
According to results released by Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu, a great improvement has been recorded in the 2022 results compared to the 2021 exam results. In 2022, the students who sat for KCSE exams were 881,416, with 443,644 being male and 437,772 being females, with 14 counties having more males than females. In 2021, 826,807 students sat for KCSE exams, with 421,318 males and 405,489 females, with 17 counties having more males than females. 2022 results statistics shows that 54,609 students sat for the exam compared to 2021, showing an increase by 6.6%. In 2022, 1,146 students scored grade A, while in 2021, 1,138 students scored grade A, showing an increase of 8 students who scored grade A in 2022. In 2022, 173,345 students scored the minimum university grade of C+ and above, compared to the 145,776 students in 2021. Total number of students who scored grade E dropped significantly in 2022, with 30,822 E's compared to the 46,151 E's in 2021. In subjects, the CS noted that 17 subjects recorded improvement compared to the 11 subjects in 2021, with a significant change in performance of 4 subjects in 2022. Similarly, all the remaining candidates are eligible to join TVET institutions, teachers training colleges, medical training colleges, and other tertiary learning institutions for various courses. Mutunga Joseph, KUTV, Nairobi.
Cabinet Secretary for Education Ezekiel Mashogu says that the Ministry of Education has moved to provide guidelines on the junior secondary school education. CS Mashogu has further noted that the government will spend 9.6 billion Kenyan shillings on capitation and grants to learners of junior secondary schools for term 1 and 2 of 2023.
While announcing the 2022 KCSE results today, Friday, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu noted that the government is set to spend 9.6 billion Kenyan shillings to aid in capitation of students set to join junior secondary schools for term 1 and 2 this year. The CS said the students will be receiving an individual capitation of 15,000 Kenyan shillings, which 4,000 will be deducted on the same share and be spent on development of infrastructure in schools, with greatest priorities being on school laboratories. Machogu further said the Kenya National Examinational Council will provide guidelines on the conduct of assessment at the junior secondary schools.
NEC will provide guidelines on the conduct of assessments at the junior secondary school, because as you are aware, we have formative and normative. Formative now forming about 60%, and this will be a continuous process.
Teacher Service Commission boss Nancy Macharia said the commission will provide guidelines on the teaching and administration of the junior secondary schools, as the junior students are expected to report on 30th January this year.
The TSC will provide guidelines on the teaching and administration of the junior secondary school as the students report shortly.
The reopening of schools for Term 1 this year will mark the resumption of normal school calendar after compressing the academic calendar due to COVID-19 effect. Israel Omai, KUTV.
Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Mashogu has today joined other senior government officials drawn from the education sector to release the 2022 KCSE examination results in NEC offices Mitihani House. As compared to the previous years, the 2022 candidates have recorded a much better performance. CS Mashogu has also announced that cases of irregularities and examination malpractices have reduced significantly. Joseph Cass with more on that story.
The long-awaited period for the students who sat for the 2022 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education to know how well they fared in the examinations came to a halt today, January 20th, as the Education Ministry, led by the Cabinet Secretary for Education Ezekiel Machogu, released the results at Mitihani House, Nairobi, setting a commendable improvement for the male students.
The male in this particular category have done better, and I hope going forward the female will also be able to improve, so that at least we have some kind of balance.
Machogu says the ministry has hastened the KCSE results release process in order to create room for candidates to prepare themselves before joining higher learning institutions. He has also mentioned that every candidate is eligible to join a higher learning institution despite their KCSE grade.
I declare that all the candidates who sat the KCSE examination in 2022 have already avenues to progress to other levels of education, as we seek to leave no runner behind in career development.
The Cabinet Secretary has also announced that the examination marking process was smooth, except for a few NEC officials who attempted to delay the process while in pursuit of addition of salaries. He has promised that the government is planning to increase remuneration for teachers. Machogu has also promised that the Ministry of Education is working closely with that of ICT in order to curb exam cheating.
We also got a partnership. We worked very closely with the ICT ministry, such that anybody who was trying to use technology in any kind of cheating, we were able to discover that in good time. I want to report, and very happy about it. When we were preparing for this exam this year, we did come up with a mechanism, and the mechanism that we came up with that was that accountability was transferred to the personal level.
For this year, however, the Ministry of Education has not ranked the schools and students in terms of their performance, thus leading to limited celebrations in the country. According to Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu, the 2022 KCSE candidates have recorded a much better performance compared to the 2021 candidates, with the male candidates scoring higher than their female counterparts. Joseph Kess, KUTV.
Thank you, Joseph case for that story. Now, Her Excellency Pastor Dorcas Rigathi has warned teachers in the country not to remain silent as homosexuality takes root in the country. Speaking at a teachers' conference at Chania Girls High School in Thika, Pastor Dorcas pointed out that many were afraid of speaking out against same-sex relationships, and this would be detrimental to the country and the values held by Kenyans. She was attending a conference that comprises teachers who also serve as chaplains in their respective schools, setting in motion her agenda for the nation, even as preparations for the launch of the strategic framework for the office of the spouse of the Deputy President. The OSDP strategic framework comprises 5 pillars that seek to transform the lives of the boy child, orphans, widows, chaplains, and most vulnerable populations to give them a dignified future.
Know that currently we are having our children involved in lesbianism and homosexuality. And this is something that we do not want to speak because we want to look good. You look good and let your children go to hell. And this is something we must change as teachers. My office is looking into ways to deepen the impact of chaplaincy in all our schools and in the National Police Service and all our institutions in order to build the capacity of chaplains of the national level and at the grassroots level.
President William Ruto has made 6 new parastatal appointments across various state-owned corporations. In a Gazette notice dated 19th January, the appointments will go into effect on Friday, 20th, 2023.
President William Ruto has made several management changes to key state corporations in the country. The head of state made 6 new appointments and revoked others in the process. In a Gazette notice dated January 19th, all appointments are to take effect from today, January 20th, to the next 3 years. Among the newly appointed personnel include Abdi Bare Duale, who was appointed as the new chairperson of the Board of Directors of the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited. Duale replaced David Azangu Ngaira, whose appointment was revoked. Dr. Charles Githinji was named chairperson of the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, taking over from Dr. James Mandere Rogers, whose appointment was also revoked. In the same Gazette notice, Cabinet Secretary for Health Susan Wafula also revoked the appointments of Paul Magutu, Dorcas Wanjiru, John Munguti, Miriam Wairimu, Stephen Ogutu, and Diana Marion as members of the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. In further appointments, Sophie Nekoye will serve as the non-executive chairperson of the Youth Advisory Board. Fatma Bakari will serve as the new non-executive chairperson of the Youth Enterprise Development Fund Board. Philip Mongoni was also appointed as the chairperson of the State Corporations Advisory Committee. The president also made changes to the Anti-Female Genital Mutilation Board and appointed Surum Ipata Koroma as the chair and duly revoked Agnes Pareyo, the previous chair of the board. All appointments will go into effect on Friday, January 20th this year, pending other communication from corresponding ministries. Ruth Wanjiru, KU TV.
Wiper Democratic Movement leader Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka has today continued his onslaught at President Ruto's government, saying they have made life unbearable for the common Mwananchi, yet they promise to make life better. Kalonzo says the statement that the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance has released on matters 2022 presidential elections has far-reaching implications on the governance of this country going forward, and that as a responsible opposition, they will continue telling the government of the day the bitter truth. The Wiper leader says Kenya has become the highest taxed nation in the world, including now the reverting of taxes on money transfer.
Going forward, this is a serious nation among the community of nations. Msiwe na hofu yoyote Kama mnaona madhambi kifanyika, sema. Atasema. Sasa hivi ushuru tangu niwe makamu wa rais na sasa mimi niko katika upinzani kwa miaka hii mitano. I want to tell you, I've never seen Kenyans as heavily taxed as now. Yaani ukitoa pesa yako kwa M-Pesa upeleke kwa akaunti nyingine ama kwa benki, unatoa ushuru. The Law Society of Kenya, of which I'm a member, today we're actually going to air the house because no business is taking place. Kwa sababu ya first of all ulaghai na mambo ya ajabu huko kwa ministry. Title deeds is a problem. So Kenyans have to be macho kabisa.
Now, the Lawyers Society of Kenya, LSK, staged a march from the Supreme Court to the House in protest against the management of the National Land Information Management System, popularly known as RDSASA. The lawyers claimed that the LSK had earlier engaged the Ministry of Lands to address challenges regarding RDSASA, but no changes were implemented. The society further noted that the inefficiency of the ministry has caused hardships to the members of the public. The Principal Secretary for the State Department and Physical Planning, Nixon Career, stated that the delays were as a result of a backload of over 100 billion shillings in transactions. Career further noted that the ministry was working towards clearing the backlogs while fast-tracking the process of digitizing all land records through the SASA platform. Murang'a Deputy Governor Stephen Mburu has said that the County Integrated Development Plan CIDP for the year 2023 to 2027 will embrace equity and inclusion of people of Murang'a. Mburu said the county administration has been working on its CIDP, and once it has been finalized, it will be tabled to the County Assembly for further review and publishing.
Murang'a Deputy Governor Stephen Mburu, while speaking on behalf of His Excellency Governor Dr. Irungu Kang'ata, after receiving members of National Gender and Equality Commission NGEC on Wednesday in his office, said that the county is in the process of discussing matters of mainstreaming gender equality issues and inclusivity of special interest groups into the county development agenda. Mburu divulged that the county has laid out a development plan which addresses issues of child protection center and other social services like rehabilitation center and building capacity of institutions. He further added that he is ready to strengthen policy and legislative capacity to ensure that the county policies are all inclusive in terms of also creating job opportunities for the people.
We have laid out the development plan for Murang'a County, which includes issues of the Child Protection Center, which includes this other social services like rehabilitation centers. Further to that, we are looking towards emphasizing on building capacities of our institutions. This includes our hospital facilities, so that they can be able to offer these services of issues of mental health, issues of capacity building.
The County Government's Act 2012 states that each county shall prepare a County Integrated Development Plan CIDP, which shall be the basis for all budgeting and spending of public funds. The County Integrated Plan focuses on economic, physical, social, environmental, and spatial planning. In addition, no public funds shall be appropriated outside a planning framework developed by the County Executive Committee and approved by the County Assembly. Kadari Cherry reporting for KU TV.
Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has engaged professionals, religious leaders and elders over recent killings and bizarre incidents in Kisii and Nyamira counties. The move was meant to solicit views for compilation of a report that will be used by the authorities to provide solutions to the shocking happenings in the region.
Mambo haya yote tumeweza kuongea na tuko na mwelekeo ambao nina imani kwamba itaweza kutusaidia.
Kisii County has been on the limelight following incidences of human rights violation that have caused public outrage in the past few months. According to the Kenya National Commission of Human Rights through the Commission's chairman, Dr. Nyeris Raymond, poverty, drug abuse, and land disputes are some of the major causes of the killings in Kisii County.
Na tumeona ya kwamba na kwa sauti moja kwamba tunahitaji tushikane na washikadau wengine, tuone kwamba tumefundisha watu wetu waepukane na mambo ya mauaji.
Supreme Council of Kenya Secretary Kisii Branch Ali Haji Ramadhan, on the other hand, claimed killings were as a result of deliberate disobedience to God's commandments by some individuals, further recommending ramifications of atrocities to be declared to members of the community, and that politicians utilize the religious leaders' advisories to rain on them.
Kwa hivyo mji wetu usije ikawa ni watu ambao tumejaa tu watu wamelaaniwa kwa sababu ya kuuana. Itakuwa ni mbaya sana.
The most shocking incident in Kisii County took place in December 14 last year at Ikuruma location Marani sub-county in Kisii, where 3 relatives are alleged to have conspired to gouge out the eyes of a 3-year-old baby, Brighton Junior Sagini, rendering him permanently visually disabled. Sagini's case trial is set to commence on March 2nd this year. Stakeholders have been challenged to find new ways of eliminating harassments among other forms of violence, as the Human Rights Commission seeks to solicit views for a compilation of a report that will be used by authorities to provide solutions to the shocking happenings in Kisii County. Joy Minor, KUTV, Nairobi.
It's 22 minutes past the hour and we're taking our first short break right here at the KUTV Primetime News. We'll be back with a comprehensive, exclusive interview on STDs and STIs with Dr. Owino. Keep watching.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Niko Malindi katika pango ambalo linafahamika kama Mwamnyika. Pango hili, mpenzi mtazamaji, ni pango ambalo ni sehemu ya kihistoria ambayo leo utapata mengi kuhusiana na sehemu hii.
Mimi japo nilimiliki muda mwingi uliopita, lakini kuna wengine hawajaingia hapa sababu wanaogopa kwanza. Sasa hizi ni njia tu ambazo zinazunguka kwenye hiyo pango.
So now, our platform has been made in such a way that it's very, very simple to use. Our interface is very simple to use. If you need to make a call, it's just a simple call button and the call goes. If you need to receive a call, it's just a simple answer button and you're able to answer. So we made the solution in such a way that it's easy enough for even myself to explain to my grandma back at home. So that is one of the things that we fully focus on. Ideally, one of the biggest reasons why we actually decided to build this in Africa is because of support services. So even before we let you start using the software, we have a short implementation period where we help you do the customizations.
Welcome to Children's Corner. Welcome to
Children's Corner.
Children's
Corner.
Welcome back. Now, there has been a furore after the acting Health Director General Patrick Amoth said that the report on the super gonorrhea infection came from a study conducted on sex workers. He was speaking on Tuesday during an interview he had with Citizen TV, and Amoth said that the infection has been reported from several other countries, including Japan, Thailand, and the UK. The infection is resistant to most of the antibiotics, and KEMRI is doing a research to explain the spread and span of super gonorrhea. Amina Abdullahi, a researcher from KEMRI who made the discovery, said most of the sick women did not even have the clinical symptoms of gonorrhea. Now, this is the dire situation that is at hand. Tonight, Dr. Owino Victor, a clinical coordinator at Rock Health Integrated Care Organization, joins me in studio to debunk matters sexually transmitted diseases. Welcome to our studios, Dr. Owino.
Okay, thanks, Mercy, for the opportunity. Thanks, Mercy, and KUTV. My name is Dr. Owino, clinical coordinator at Rock Health, as you've rightfully said. And I'm happy to talk about sexually transmitted infections vis-a-vis sexual transmitted diseases. So we prefer the first one, STIs, to STDs. Because if it's an STI, it means it's an infection. If it's an STD, it's an actual disease. So you can actually have an infection without the disease. That's why we prefer STIs instead of STDs.
Right. First things first, you will be looking at your camera. Your camera is the one on my left. All right. Now, help us understand what gonorrhea is and how it is transmitted.
Okay. So gonorrhea is a bacterial infection that is most commonly transmitted by, of course, sexual contact, intimate sexual contact, but with caution, because we can have vertical transmission and horizontal transmission.
All right.
So vertical transmission is from mother to child, or when the child is still in the mother's womb, that is through the placenta.
So that means gonorrhea can actually, someone can be born with gonorrhea?
Yes.
Okay.
Or it can be transmitted horizontally. Horizontally means through blood transfusion, through physical contact, or through things like that, but not the other way.
Maybe what are the symptoms indicating that one has this infection?
Okay, so gonorrhea is a wide spectrum of disease. It has so many symptoms. Most patients who are affected, first of all, I should have started by giving you an epidemiology of STIs, that globally we have around 374 million infections in a year. That is globally, we only have the global data. And every day in the world, we have 1 million new infections. And the most alarming thing is that the most affected populations are aged 15 to 49 years. Those are the younger people. So gonorrhea has a wide spectrum of presentation. First, it can present as a urethral discharge. It can also present as itching and some swelling in the urethra. And like I've said, it presents in a wide spectrum of symptoms. We can have gonococcal arthritis. You can have arthritis because of gonorrhea, actually.
Oh, really?
Gonorrhea can also present as an infection in the eye, which comes as a discharge. And again, it can present in the eyes. We can have, okay, I don't want to use medical terms, but you can see it in the eyes. Yes.
Right, so maybe talk about the diagnosis and treatment of gonorrhea.
So in our setup, we have a limitation of resources, diagnostics. So actually, we have very many approaches. We have to diagnosis. We can use the etiological approach, which we use the lab. We use the nucleic acid amplification test. For example, the polymerase chain reaction, that is PCR, to diagnose it, or we can use culture and sensitivity to diagnose it. Clinical approach, we can use the signs and symptoms and the physical examination. And then we can also use the syndromic approach, like what groups of syndromes does the patient come with? Is it the discharge? Does the patient come with a discharge from the anus or the rectal region? Does the patient come with a young patient comes with the discharge from the eyes?
Right. Now, how can one reduce the chances, or rather the risk of contracting gonorrhea, or talk about the prevention measures of gonorrhea?
Okay, so of course everything starts and ends with safe sex. That is the end goal of, if we want to end gonorrhea, we have to practice safe sex. Again, we have to, if mothers are pregnant, we have to attend all the ANC visits. And of course, we have to rationalize our use of antibiotics. Because if we use antibiotics aimlessly, we can have those drugs killing the good bacteria in our systems that keep the bad bacteria away.
Right. Now, aside from gonorrhea, maybe you can talk about other STIs and their symptoms as well as treatment.
Okay, thanks, Mercy. So to make it easy, I will approach it in this way. I will say we have STIs presenting as discharge. We have talked about gonorrhea. Now, gonorrhea usually occurs together with chlamydia, and we can also have other causes of discharge, like herpes simplex virus can have one or two, and we can also have candidiasis. Now, this is in terms of discharge. Again, it can present as a painful ulcer or a sore. The group of discharge, we call it drip. I hope that is funny enough. So the drip group, I've said it. And again, it can present as ulcers. Now, if you have an ulcer, you have to ask yourself, is it painful? Is it painless? Now, if it is painful, what are some of the victims? We can have victims like herpes, like I've said before, what a bacteria called LGV, lymphogranuloma venereum, and then we can also have granuloma inguinale. Now, if it's painless, what are some of the suspects? Syphilis, what we popularly call the great imitator. And according to our father of medicine, Sir William Osler, the physician that knows syphilis, of course, definitely knows medicine. So it's a great imitator. We should think of that again. Yes. So again, if a patient comes with anorectal discharge, what should you think of? You should think of things like human papilloma virus. You should also think of course, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and other bacteria in that class.
Right. Even as we continue with this discussion about STIs and STDs, send in your feedback, your questions on KUTV at KUTV Kenya at Mercy IMBINDA, and Dr. Wino is here to answer those questions. Now, what are some of the complications that arise from STIs, Dr. Wino?
Okay, so a wide range of complications that STIs can cause. We can divide them into two: health-wise and economically. Of course, economic implications, we have things like reduced quality of life, we have increased morbidity and mortality, we will have infertility if we look at the health-wise, or if it's women, we have a condition called the pelvic inflammatory disease, which presents as a chronic pain. Patients can also have pain when they are engaging in sexual activity, can also present with discharge. Now we can have things like stillbirth, low birth weights, increased, of course, neonatal mortality, a lot of complications of STIs, ectopic pregnancy. Think of it, so many complications.
Right. Now, talking about the supergonorrhea that Dr. Amoth was talking about, he mentioned that the infection was resistant to most of the antibiotics that they subjected it to. So what is the meaning of resistance to antibiotics? Okay, I don't know whether I should start by, I think it's to do justice to the question, I should start by telling you what supergonorrhea is. Supergonorrhea is what we call gonorrhea superbug. That is a strain of gonorrhea that is increasingly very resistant to all the known medications, all the known combinations. Right now, there is a combination of ceftriaxone for the medical professionals.
and azithromycin. So this is resistant to those known drugs. And what causes it? Why do we have supergonorrhea? It's because when you have a little cough, you run to the chemist. You go and you buy an antibiotic for a mere cough. Now that's one reason. The second reason is, of course, inherent mutation. They can change in their genetic makeup. Now the third one is our sexual practices. The men who have sex with men community. Now you find that if men have sex with men, they are going to introduce gonorrhea into new anatomical sites in the body. For example, the pharynx or the anus. And what is the problem with this? If you take gonorrhea from your pelvic region and you take it to another anatomical site, it's going to interact with the bacteria in that site, and then they are going to exchange genetic material, and then it's going to mutate and bring a gonorrhea superbug.
So the superbug is as a result of maybe new sexual activity that is causing the mutation, as you say.
Yes, new sexual activity, exposure to antibiotics, use of low quality antibiotics. Yes.
So are you saying that if over time when people are consistently using antibiotics, they lower their body resistance or rather reception to antibiotics?
When you use antibiotics over and over again for no reason or for wrong reasons, then of course you will have resistance. That is one. Two, you will kill the good bacteria in your body that will not be able to keep the bad bacteria in check. Usually the body heals by either one, it heals by itself, or the drug helps it. The drug either kills the bacteria or stops it from multiplying. So when your body doesn't have that inherent ability to heal by itself, then the bacteria will multiply. Yes.
Now, what do you have to say over the situation in the city? I mean, there has been a furore and mixed reactions really from the city dwellers hearing that the supergonorrhea is in town.
Okay, so as you know, the information came from our acting Director General of Health, who is my senior, Dr. Patrice Amoth, who alarmed the country of a superbug or supergonorrhea. As medical professionals who actually have powers to read, we actually went and looked at this study. It was a study conducted in an STI clinic in Nairobi. There were 379 participants, and now that alert was good for us as medical professionals. We allowed it because we are now keen. Even if it's one sample which tested positive, we still have to be careful in how we use our medicines, because we find that the general populations are the customers of the places where the research was done. But again, the findings of the research or the research itself should be taken with a pinch of salt, because it had so many limitations that I don't think in my opinion, it's not safe to make a general conclusion based on that study alone. Because, for example, that study, out of the 23 samples that were taken, only one was, okay, we had 6 of them taken to culture. Only one was cultured. One sample was cultured. Like, of all the samples cultured, only one tested positive for supergonorrhea, and that one was found to be resistant to so many drugs. That is one. 2, the women who took part in the study only was done in women aged 18 to 49 years. So the women who took part in the study were symptomatic. They had symptoms of gonorrhea. They were primary, they learned up to primary level, and they had multiple sexual partners, to be specific, 28 within the last 2 weeks. Now, if we want to do a study that can be used to generalize a population, we have to have a reasonable sample. It has to be carried out in a long period of time, and we have to have some control. Control means like what of that population who had gonorrhea but had no symptoms. Yeah. So while we allowed that alarm by the acting AG or AG Health, DG Health, we have to take it with a pinch of salt because of those particular limitations.
Right. So you're therefore implying that there should be a relief from the city dwellers, that they don't really have to be alarmed.
Super gonorrhea is in town, that's true. But we should be alarmed again, that's also true. But we cannot use that study to make a general conclusion about...
They should just be alarmed with a pinch of salt.
Yes.
That's what you say.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe you could give us your parting shot even as we bring this interview to a close.
Just for the youths to take care, everyone in the population to take care of, to have good health, exercise, and of course, medical checkups. Yes.
Right. Thank you so much. That has been Dr. Owino Victor. Thank you so much for engaging with us tonight. Right. Moving on, the government has rolled out training of national and county administrators who will spearhead the implementation of the cheap fertilizer subsidy ahead of the expected March rains. Speaking when he launched the training at the Kenya School of Government, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said that the pilot phase will cover 12 priority counties. And as our Ruth Wanjiru reports, only registered farmers will be considered, as well as acreage of land owned. Take a look.
The race to arrest the ever-present food insecurity in the country is on as government takes strategic steps ahead of the much-awaited March rains. DP Gachagua, who kick-started the training of administrators who will implement the fertilizer subsidy, says that the pilot phase will cover 12 counties, which are widely seen as Kenya's breadbasket.
We have identified from the beginning 12 counties to commence the program, counties that represent the breadbasket of our great nation. Today, you are here to be synthesized on how this program will be implemented in the initial 12 counties represented here. These counties have been selected as a pilot for the first phase of the subsidy program. Upon successful implementation of the first phase, the program will be implemented and rolled out immediately to the rest of the counties in the country.
A 50 kg bag of fertilizer currently retails at 6,000 shillings, a price which will be considerably lowered to 3,500 shillings under the new program. However, a farmer must register with details of the size of his farm in order to benefit. In the plan, 1 acre of farm qualifies for only 2 bags.
This will ensure more farmers are able to access affordable fertilizer distributed close to them. In the first phase, we target 2.1 million farmers in Narok, Bungoma, Uasin Gishu, Nakuru, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, Migori, Kakamega, Bomet, Kericho, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Nandi counties. The program is being fast-tracked so that farmers can utilize the fertilizers in the coming rains.
Kenya needs 52 million bags of maize annually to feed its growing population. But farmers only produce 40 million bags, with the deficit bridged through importation, a situation President Ruto hopes to turn around by subsidizing production.
This program has tight timelines and high public expectation. Already, a national farmer registration exercise is ongoing under the coordination of our chiefs and assistant chiefs. And I want to say pongezi. The exercise has been very smooth and the results are evident. Furthermore, the Kenya National Trading Corporation, KNTC, and the National Cereals and Produce Board, NSPB, are in the process of distributing the fertilizer in your counties in readiness for the rains.
Registered farmers will use their mobile phones to make purchases by dialing *707#. Also present at the Kenya School of Government for the launch were Cooperative CS Simon Chelugui and Bungoma Governor Ken Lusaka, who chairs the Council of Governor Agriculture Committee. The Ministry of Treasury, Interior, Agriculture and Trade have all been roped in to ensure the success of the multi-sectoral approach taken by the program. Ruth Wanjiru, KU TV.
Thank you, Ruth Wanjiru, for that report. Now, for the last 5 years, there has been scarcity of rain in Bere, which has led the small-scale farmers in the semi-arid area to adapt to the climatic change in the area, which forced them to revise some farming formulas applied in their farming. Many Bere farmers are now opting for sorghum farming due to its guaranteed yields.
Bere North MP Geoffrey Ruku partnered with Pan-African Climate and Justice Alliance, together with East Africa Malting Limited Company, in conducting a survey within Bere to assess the performance of sorghum farming, which is a major economic activity in the area. The assessment trained its focus on impacts of the scarcity of rain in the last 5 years, negatively affecting farming of cash crops like maize and beans. The MP now roots for the better performing Gadam sorghum.
To see how the crop is performing, and it is doing exceedingly well. We were not expecting that this variety of the sorghum is going to do this well within our constituency.
Farmers from Siandera in Bere North, tucked in the dry parts of Embu County, have expressed satisfaction with the Gadam sorghum, which they say is more successful compared to other crops. They added that they use the sorghum as food or sell it to help them run their daily activities.
Mimi ni mkulima hapa, nimelima sorghum na kulingana na season iliyopita nimevuna vizuri, na sasa natarajia kuvuna mingi sababu nilikuwa nimelima mahindi pale, lakini mahindi janisaidia.
Nini yani unaokoa nzaazi sana na unatupa nini nzaazi kwa manyumba. Siwezi kurara na njaa nikiwa na mtama. Lakini mahindi ya mbua huku kwetu haiwezi, mahindi haikuangi sana.
James Kanyi, who works for Pan-Africa Climate and Justice Alliance, a network of more than 1,000 organizations, said the association has mobilized 48 countries in Africa and distributed the seeds and inputs required for farming. Kanyi says Gadam sorghum variety matures in 3.5 months and can do very well with little rainfall. He also says that from 1 acre parcel of land, a farmer is able to get 15 bags of 90 kilograms of sorghum.
This is a very, very productive variety of sorghum, because we expect mkulima anaweza vuna 15 bags za 90 kgs in 1 acre. That is under very good agronomic conditions, all practices. So bando tutaendelea kusupport wakulima, even the subsequent seasons tutawaendelea kuwasupport.
Bere North farmers are optimistic that sorghum farming will help change their livelihood and are advising people from areas experiencing scarcity of rain to try the drought-resistant variety. Mutunga Joseph, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, my director tells me it's time to take another short break right here at the KUTV Primetime News. We'll be back with sports news. Don't go too far.
You need to look for high quality friends.
I'm from Kingston, Jamaica, you know Portmore. That's my village.
Sanga tu chini hapo ukingetia ukikatia mademo akipita.
Sina pesa saa hii, nimekuja kukopesa choo.
Niko Malindi katika pango ambalo linafahamika kama Mwamnyika. Pango hili, mpenzi mtazamaji, ni pango ambalo ni sehemu ya kihistoria ambayo leo utapata mengi kuhusiana na sehemu hii.
Mimi japo nilimiliki muda mwingi uliopita, lakini kuna wengine hawajaingia hapo sababu wanaogopa kwanza. Sasa hizi ni njia tu ambazo zinazunguka kwenye hiyo pango.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design, with branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa. Our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Welcome back. It's time to get sporty. Over 200 CAF D level coaches have graduated across the country today after completing coaching courses offered by the Football Kenya Federation in Rumuruti, Webuye, Nairobi West, Mombasa and Thika. The CFD coaching course is the entry-level coaching qualification recognized by Confederation of Africa Football CAF and is recommended for grassroots coaches. Speaking at the closing ceremony of the course in Nairobi West, FKF Vice President Doris Petra said FKF was committed to building the capacity of coaches in the country. Eight-time Olympic gold medalist Usain Bolt is reportedly missing more than $12.7 million, equivalent to 1.6 billion shillings, from his investment account in Jamaica. Boss lawyer Linton Gordon broke the news on Tuesday that the former sprinter is looking to recover $12.7 million after his balance at Wealth Management Firm Stocks and Securities Limited account SSL inexplicably dwindled to just $12,000, and the 36-year-old former Jamaican sprinter is considering legal action against the firm if the funds are not recovered. Manchester City closed the gap on the league leaders Arsenal to just 5 points with a gutsy 4-2 win over Tottenham after a sensational second-half comeback. Spurs, who took the lead thanks to goals from Dejan Kulusevski and Emerson Royal to take a 2-0 commanding lead before the breather, but a second-half blitz from Pep Guardiola